Let's make cactus glue. My mission is to build a desert forest. Obviously, desert soils don't have enough water to sustain much life. Anything that I can put down there where plant roots can find water for a longer amount of time is gonna make this place greener and wetter. But I have some questions. Is cactus glue gonna work? Is it gonna outcompete the alternatives? Today, I have a little competition where we're gonna put cactus glue against hydrogel and our custom potting mix to find out which works the best and which gives me the most bang for my buck. Cactus glue has a lot of amazing benefits, but it's not something I can just buy on Amazon. I've gotta make it. I got a new tool. I need this. And he's off. Most of this cactus has been sitting here for months, so I'm only going to keep the absolute thickest stuff for planting, and then the rest of it we will make some cactus glue with. Not the big spines that I care about, it's the glochids. Oh, there's a couple of these that rooted. That's too bad. Although it's kind of cool when you can grow cactus when you're literally not trying. Kind of looks like salsa. The blender is smoking, so I think we're just gonna have to go with the chopped stuff. I'm gonna let this ferment for a day, probably two. So this will just be on loosely so it can breathe, and we'll come back and check it. Okay, we are now coming up on 36 hours on the cactus glue. Let's see how we're doing. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but it's got a very, very slight viscous feeling. It has a texture. It's almost like if oil and water were mixed, this would be what it's like. It's funny. I mean, it's not something I would want to eat, but it's not a bad smell. It smells really earthy. If the cactus glue wins the experiment, there's no chance it's going to win based on its water holding capacity. These pads do hold a lot of water. I think they're about 80% water. The reason the water stays is because of the mucilage in the cactus. That viscosity you noticed with the cactus glue, that's the mucilage holding the water inside the pads. But mucilage has to compete against hydrogel, which has been used in commercial products since the 1960s, mainly in baby diapers because it holds so much water. Any of you with kids know the first time you change a really wet diaper, you wonder to yourself, how does it hold that much water? Well, the reason is potassium or sodium polyacrylate. If cactus glue is going to win, it's not going to be because it holds more water. It'll be because it holds water and pairs better with this local soil biology than hydrogel by itself. The only redeeming factor of hydrogel is that it holds a staggering amount of water, but biology is more complex than that. What I think will happen is I think the cactus glue will hold maybe 20% as much water than the hydrogel, but it should have amazing biological benefits. And I'm going to kickstart that biology using Johnson Sioux compost for all 3 of our experiments. Before we test the cactus glue, I'm going to make a standard mix. And we have some screen soil that happens to have a little bit of biochar in it that I'm going to start with. But the mixing goes so much better if you do it slowly and piecemeal. A little bit of compost. And probably way too much biochar just to start, because we're going to be adding a lot of soil. This isn't perfect, but you see how it's sticking together? Just needs a little more moisture, but this is pretty close. This is where the cactus glue will come in. Hopefully that gets it to bind. Ideally, we'd like to be able to clump it and not have it completely fall apart like that. It needs just a little bit more of a binder. What we made is a desert potting soil, and I call it that because it's appropriate to the local context. No plant out here expects to grow in the beautiful topsoil of the Great Plains. The soil has almost no organic matter, so we're trying to make it richer without making it rich. And by aiming to get it this reasonable black-gray color, it's a balance between making sure that it actually has nutrients without resorting to laboratory testing, because we have to strike the balance between scientific and practical. Before we go irrigate, let's get the star of the show, the Bluetti Elite 100 1800 watt. This thing only weighs 25 pounds, so when I need power in a remote spot, super easy. Just put it behind the driver's seat and go. Let's irrigate. Now this thing's got plenty of juice for what I need. It does 1800 watts of continuous output, but it has more than 1,000 watt hours for running this little diaphragm pump. I think this pulls around 150 watts, but we'll check. Look at that. This thing's got so much power. I only am pulling 90 watts, so it's just going to use a tiny fraction of the battery. And since this is an agro-rewilding project, one thing you can feel good about is the way it's made. The plastic is a bioplastic that's ISCC certified, meaning you can feel good about what you're using and not worried about polluting the environment. It's an easy way to make your off-grid experience or your camping experience a little more environmentally friendly. And this unit will power 4,000 continuous use cycles, meaning you could use it every day for a decade before you ran out of service life. Basically, it can take what you throw at it. All right, let's turn it off. I love how they light the display up like that, because when it's dark, that is a pain to find. That's sweet. Hold the button down, and off she goes. I don't think that could be much easier. Now, the only thing I have to do, aside from carry that back, is to shut off the water. Pretty easy. Thank you, Bluetti, for sponsoring today's episode. Okay. Fill these up. Okay, what I want to do is I want to give them the same amount of moisture, so I'm going to use our little kitchen glasses to keep track, and I'll mix the water in the 5-gallon bucket, and that'll really help us understand the effect. So this will be my control. I'm going to get it pretty moist. These are only going to get a single watering, because what we want to test is the effect of the cactus glue on maybe the biology, but definitely the water retention. Just shy of wet. And the reason I'm using the glass is I'm hoping that we'll be able to see some root structure, assuming stuff grows. Voila. Okay, control. Now, cactus glue. So it's now been 72 hours. It feels slimy and goopy. Well, I'm excited to see what this does. I might need a second cup to... This will work much better. If cactus glue works, it's because it's partnering with both the quality of the dirt and soil biology. This particular soil mix I made didn't have too much clay in it, but there is some. But there are pockets on the ranch where it's pure clay. And as you get an active soil biology, you can transform clay where when it's fully hydrated, only about 25% of the water is available to plants. But as the biology changes the crumb and physical structure of the soil, you can increase that percentage to 43%. So even though the cactus glue won't last forever, it can transform the dirt around it, potentially, and make way more water available to plants in a completely organic and sustainable way. I want to make absolutely certain that I give the microbes the best chance as quickly as possible to make the cactus glue successful. I'm going to use Johnson Sioux compost. This is a way to inoculate the biology on the seeds themselves so that as those roots spread, they spread the microbes with them and bring the biology that'll transform the soil. It's viscous, but it's not like over the top viscous. All right. That's funny, it's the same amount of water, but it feels much muddier. It's pretty easy to get in the jar. Now this is the stuff that most of the audience loves to hate, but we've had a lot of success getting cactus to grow much faster by increasing the water availability in the soil. It makes an enormous difference. Hydrogel works amazingly well. I make no apologies at all for using it. I'm going to show you why, and then we'll talk about why so many viewers love to hate it. This is my sitting area near camp where we're establishing a tree line, but what is not clear on camera is that we're also establishing cactus. If you are not familiar with growing prickly pear, you're probably underwhelmed. If you are familiar with growing prickly pear, you're probably impressed. We planted this pad in the ground 3 months ago. We don't intentionally water the cactus. What's helping this growth is that we put hydrogel right next to it. And although we've mulched the surface, we haven't added anything in the actual soil itself. This cactus is growing on practically nothing. We have other pads too that are popping up. And this one is the pièce de résistance, the big pad that has exploded out of the ground. This one too. We're growing these at camp because these particular prickly pear are improved varieties that are both thornless and selected for speed and their fruit quality. I expect in the future we're going to have an enormous supply of cactus, a lot of fruit, and if we can use it for something beyond just surface mulch, I'd like to know how to get the most value out of it that I can. Everybody hates on this stuff, but we have a lot of success getting the plants to grow much faster with it in the ground and in the pots. But while we wait for the crystals to hydrate, I'm going to prep the seeds, and I'm going to do that. All of them are going to get Johnson Sioux. I want them to be as healthy and vigorous as possible. I'm going to pretty much throw the kitchen sink at it. I think vetch will do the best, but we'll just plant everything and see how they do. Now I just got to shake it for 90 seconds. There's 1/8 of a teaspoon of Johnson Sioux in here, so I just shake it. Okay, this is hairy vetch. It should do the best. Maybe this common vetch. Okay, these are daikon radishes, peas. I'm excited that all of these are sinking right to the bottom. That's great. And triticale. I'll let these sit overnight and then tomorrow they'll go in these glass jars.
Okay, so with the Johnson Sioux,
Core idea of Johnson Sioux is just to get them to germinate. So we're just doing this to make sure that the seeds are as likely to germinate as strongly and quickly as possible.
okay, that makes sense.
Also, with your ear pro, you look like you're going to Disney World.
I forgot I even had them on.
See, the seeds have already swollen up quite a bit. And the hydrogel is hydrated. So I got to do the last step, which is to put the soil in the beacon, and then tomorrow we plant. Hang on, buddy. Hang on. Hi, buddy. Hey, Remy. It's now been 24 hours. I'm just going to go ahead and plant because these seeds need to get out of the water anyway. Roughly the same amount in each. Do this as evenly as possible. Control done. Cactus glue. Now, hydrogel. Pretty spongy. And now, these are in the nursery. We'll keep an eye on them every few days, but for now, we wait. Well, it's hardly a surprise when you have water sealing the surface. It's not even water, it's hydrogel. It formed essentially a plastic layer. We do have some very, very, very small germinations that have managed to poke through, which is nothing short of amazing. I've had a month to think about this, and I realized that, is that really what I want cactus glue to accomplish? Do I want it to be the most effective thing in a drought, and do I expect it to win? Well, I don't expect it to win. Hydrogel is going to do a better job. That's not the value proposition of cactus glue. It's a hydrogel that supports microbial life. So with the benefit of time and distance, I have a better use for it. I'm going to make a new batch of cactus glue, and I'm going to show you a much better way to use it. When I got here, I realized the cactus glue experiment was a little flawed because, of course, the hydrogel is going to win. It holds 400 to 500 times its weight in water. I just expect that's going to crush the biochar by itself, but I realized I'm testing for the wrong thing. I've been trying to test for maximum water holding capacity when what I'm really trying to test for is maximum biomass and growth. And the way I need to do that is I need to regularly water, but I need some kind of mechanism to control when I water. So I've designed a new experiment still featuring cactus glue. The first one is going to be the control, where I'm only using water in the biochar. That should actually retard the growth of the plants, but it's going to be the indicator of when I need to water the entire system. The two alternates are the regularly charged biochar and then the cactus glue charged biochar. I want to see if there's any kind of observable difference in what's happening, because the cactus glue, in addition to being in the biochar, should hold more water in addition to supporting my microbes, but we got to put that to the test. We only need a couple of pads. I massively overdid it last time. You might be wondering, this is not very scalable at all. How would you scale it? The idea is if you have a tractor, it has a PTO, a power takeoff, and you can have specialized equipment that just turns grinding blades behind a tractor. So instead of me sitting here chopping cactus like I'm a weird chef, you could just chuck the cactus in and have it all chopped up instantly with no effort and skip all this step. But I don't have a tractor and I don't need to scale, so choppy chop. I love biochar once it's in the ground. I really don't like using it when it's powder dry. So I am covered head to toe particulates, so I don't want to breathe it in. We're going to make 3 versions. And because this is such a small quantity, I'm not going to use the concrete mixer. It's hydrated without being wet. Cactus glue, I'm going to get the same proportion. Okay, I need fish emulsion, Johnson Sioux, rice hulls, molasses, rock phosphate. Right, here we have the molasses. Thank you to the viewers that sent this from the Amazon wish list. It's getting used and will continue to be used very heavily. I forget the rock phosphate amount, but it's tiny. That's the rock phosphate. Now we're in castings. Okay, the dry ingredients are good. Now I just need the wet ingredients. Fish emulsion, Johnson Sioux, and molasses. Now we shake this for 90 seconds. Okay, that's 90 seconds, and now I have all of my wet ingredients. Get all of that in that bucket. 4 tablespoons of molasses. Okay. 1, 2, 4. And then 2 of fish emulsion, which is so gross. That's it. About 2 gallons. Get this nice and stirred up. Let's check out the cactus glue first. Yeah, good amount of mucilage on this. Yeah, we're going to put about a 1/4 cup. Okay, and now this is the original. Pour this in here. Let's finish up with our regular batch. Get this all mixed up and let the biochar absorb it. Regular batch here. And the cactus glue batch. Get all this out of the sun. I need native soil to run my cactus glue experiment. It's going to create a lot of gravel in the process. For this, we're doing a little daikon radish and cereal rye. I'm going to line this up in the exact same order. Next up is cactus glue. This looks phenomenal. And finally, the regular treated biochar. So now I'm gonna soak these. I have to be careful because I don't want to get the control for the first experiment all messed up. So I'm gonna get the water column going through here. Just do this slowly.
What's really interesting about this is the control, and it does not have any germinations yet. This is the cactus glue that Sean did, and as you can see, it has lots of germinations. And this third one rather, it's the second experiment, third one total, is biochar, and that has germinations. It's really interesting how the cactus glue has the most germinations, followed by biochar, and the control does not have any yet. I think that's pretty interesting to see and great information for us.
It's been so long since I started this project, I don't know how much time has passed. I think it's 4 or 5 months. This result is so awesome. I'm so excited to see the cactus glue, and the grass is taller and thicker than the regular charging process. I wouldn't say it's an earth-shattering result if you look at it at this point in time, but the way the germinations reacted, it's so different. And I got so obsessed with these results, I didn't actually even think about this result, which is the cactus glue actually has something alive, even though we've given this bucket, well, these glass jars, no supplement or water. Only rain has fallen in here to recharge. Of course, the stuff in the control is absolutely dead, but even the stuff in the hydrogel is dead. The only thing alive is in the cactus glue. I am really, really happy with the results. I did not expect this to work so well. I thought this would be an esoteric project where maybe I would learn something, but I didn't expect to see the germinations so clearly outperform with the cactus glue compared to the control. Well, not just the control, but also the regular charging process. I think if I came over here and I looked at the cactus glue and how it's performing against the biochar, just looking at it, I think I would have thought, it's not a huge difference and it's not probably worth it. But that early germination, that super strong start with really vigorous seedlings makes me convinced if I did this with trees and perennials, it's absolutely worth the effort. So my next project, I have a couple in mind. Number one is I gotta stop charging biochar in blue barrels. At some point, I really want to scale the biochar distribution, not the production. I've got better things to do than to light fires and babysit them. And biochar, if you buy it in large enough quantities, is really affordable. It's generally smarter to pay somebody else to do the burning. It's easy to ferment large batches of cactus glue. The problem is, how do you get it into the biochar and distribute it and still make the material handling efficient? That's something I'm really thinking through. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do yet, but it's a goal. And then the other idea is related to the desert globe mallow and the okra that I'm planting. So I'm going to use okra in my syntropic agroforestry system as immediate shade. It'll grow huge and tall really early in the season and shelter the seeds and the trees that I'm so passionate about. The other idea is from the family Malvaceae. It's because I'm planting large quantities of desert globe mallow, and I'm also going to have okra growing on the windbreak for shade. And if you've ever had fried okra, you know that nasty goop. Well, I've got some ideas in mind for how I might add another step to this charging process using the goop from Malvaceae, but I want to do that experiment. But before I do that, I'm going to need some Malvaceae growing here. So luckily I'm already doing that. It's a way to reinforce the Desert Forest mission and keep doing research but not get sidetracked. If you like what I'm doing here, you like the process of amending desert soils to enhance the landscape, check out this video. I planted this hydrogel that holds 100 times its weight in water.